give a shout out to Brendan Quinn. Very powerful article that you wrote. I appreciate it. Looking back to that story and reading it, it made me, take me back to some memories of growing up and all the adversity that, living in that area of Loden Homes, and I recall the experience of when I first moved in the area, and I was like, wow, we moving on up, similar to like the Jeffersons, looking at a place where it was a 2-flat, apartment. Then I said, well, it's a townhouse. But then when I found out, after walking outside and hanging out with the kids, there was a CHA development, coming from the neighborhood that I was leaving. We sort of looked down on CHA. And so, it was unfair. It taught me about how to appreciate whatever God has put forth on your plate, that there's always a reason. That despite, wherever that obstacle is, that if you put your mind to it and obviously pray every day and do what you have to do, control the controllable, and then you never know what the light of the end of the tunnel is going to bring you. And that was why I got so super emotional when I was hired here at the University of Michigan, because I started thinking about like my journey, and to put a basketball court for the kids that grew up in that area that I knew they did not have something that I always wanted when I was living in Loden Homes. We used to shoot. We used to shoot on crates, on the monkey bars. We used to try to figure out ways to just have fun and be a kid. And, so God, that blessed me with the talent to play basketball. So I went up and I said, well, I gotta give back to the community. These kids, they need, an outlet. I was once them, and I can never turn my back on them. And that's what the playground's all about. It's more than just a playground. It was more than just a basketball court. It was about just trying to reach out and just help make a difference in the community. And when I read the article, thinking about Tony Allen, Lumpkin, Horton, and what they said, I was like, wow, that's what it was for. And obviously for many others who didn't have the opportunity like Allen did, or Lumpkin, or Horton. And the impact that you have on the kids' lives that you had no idea at the time what you were doing. Appreciate that. it's always like I'm crying. Wow. My grandmother's so proud. Yeah. Because it was her choice to move to that neighborhood. Thank you.
Go ahead, Jake.
That would help.
Go ahead, Jake.
Okay. Oh boy. So you talked after Northwestern about you were going to watch film with John Teskey. I was wondering if you've maybe done that, and what were you maybe kind of seeing about his game?
Well, we haven't gotten around to it yet. Yesterday we had an off day, and sometimes in off days you just want to get away from basketball and just be a student athlete. I understand that he has a schedule with classes and things that come up when it comes to his academics. So today is going to be a basketball day. So we'll have our moment to sit down and just talk about how I can help him, finish out his senior year on a great note.
And then maybe I'm wondering what kind of advantages you guys see over Indiana.
Indiana's tough. They came off a big win last night versus Iowa at home. Very strong physical team. Great offensive rebounding team. As we know, last night, Green got hot from the outside. Had a big first half. Shot the ball well. They played with a lot of motion, a lot of intensity. Very good active hands on defensive end. Try to be very disruptive. So we got to come out being locked in, which I know we will. We're playing at home in front of our home crowd. I know the crowd is going to be excited about this matchup. So will we.
James?
Juwan, it seems like over the last 5 games, the defense has reached another level. Last week you mentioned energy and effort. Is there anything else you feel like has contributed to this first upswing?
This practice has been a big key to how our defense has improved. Yes, there have been other ways of how we can add to how we can become a better defensive team by some of the adjustments that we've made, but it's always started in practice and building those habits and guys being locked in to buying into what we're teaching and bringing the energy and effort and the mindset of trying to figure out ways to disrupt and be a better defensive group as we approach the second half of the season. Well, as we end the second half of the season.
And over the last 5 games, you guys are like top 5 in the nation defending inside the arc. I think you guys are holding teams below 40% in terms of improvements. What have you seen in that area, just guarding inside the arc?
The activity. Guys, of course, has been more locked in to not leaving a brother on an island by himself. Been very good in the help team defense level. We also has done a really good job of guarding our man one-on-one. We want to continue to keep getting better in those areas. There's always room for improvement. They'll let you know if you ask them. I always have film on areas on how we can get better because to them is some of the best teaching.
All right.
John is posting a lot more this season than he did in his first 3 years. Can you take him through the process of teaching him the ins and outs of how to post up and score with his back to the basket?
Yeah, we've been working on it since July, and he's getting better and better with it. Unfortunately, last game versus Northwestern, I got knocked off balance a few times. I got knocked off his sweet spot. Some shots that normally go in kind of rolled in and rolled out. They also have been doubling him in the post. We got to take that into consideration as well. It's not, a session, and not saying you guys are doing this, but overall, he's the first person that you can point the finger at and says, okay, well, John is not playing as well, or John is not giving us anything, or John is not an inside presence. And no, that's not it. he's on everyone's scouting report. They double him for a reason, because they do not want to see John score baskets, because they know he's capable of having big nights if you play him one-on-one. I really love the fact that John has not, by any way, walked into my office or in practice and been, resistant of playing in the inside. He's always trying to figure out ways of how he can improve, and I will continue to keep developing him.
Given that teams are adapting and doubling more and digging down more, what can you guys do to sort of attack that and adapt to that?
Oh, we've done a really good job last game, and not only just last game, but we've had counters too. Anytime when teams double. But I'm not going to say it now because it just gives them our scouting report.
Zach?
With the defense, I know with Yaklich and then Billy Donlin before were kind of defensive coordinators under John Beeline. How do you delegate defensive teaching with the assistants?
Oh, well, we all have, a responsibility and a duty to do our job and help, when it comes to offense and defense. Every assistant on our staff have a scouting report for each team. Like, for example, we play Indiana and it's Howard Isley scout. He's going to contribute to what will help us, give us the best chance to win. But I'm not going to stay here right now and say who's an offensive coordinator, who's a defensive coordinator. No, we do it collectively as a group.
Go ahead, Ethan.
On defense, you talked a few weeks ago about communication as something specifically that you wanted to improve. I guess, how have you guys worked on that? How have you seen it get better?
I've seen it get better a lot, but we still can improve, get 1% better with our communication. There are times when I still have to hold up the P.J. Tucker sign, and I will continue to keep doing it throughout the year until we get it right. Every time, all the time, 40 minutes.
Just noticed you were in the We Have a Dream. There was an interview you did with C. Vivian Stringer a couple weeks ago when you guys were talking about your role as a black coach. You're the first black coach in the Big Ten for men's basketball since 2007. I believe you're the first in Michigan's history, and you kind of mentioned you do it for more than you. I guess, what does this role mean to you? Have you reflected on the role at all? Have you put,
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess,
Yeah.
How do you visualize the role? What do you mean by it means more?
Well, like being the first black head coach here at University of Michigan and a former player that played college ball and then also played, the NBA level for 19 years, coming from a community like Logan Holmes, I am an inspiration for a lot of guys who are striving to be, the next men's basketball coach wherever university there is. It's more than just, I'm doing it for the Howard family. I'm doing it for the community back in Chicago. I'm also doing it for all the other aspiring young kids that want to someday play professionally, play on a collegiate level, and then someday come back and teach the game of basketball as a head coach. So it's my duty to be a great example. It's my duty to lead, to show the passion, the energy, the effort, be thankful and grateful for this position, and do my best wherever I can to help lead these young men. This job doesn't come too often, and I know that. I'm aware of that. I can't take this lightly. I got to show, and I'm okay with that. And I'm comfortable with knowing that it's more than just me. I welcome pressure. I've had pressures growing up since day one from Logan Holmes. And I've always never ran from it.
Anybody have anything else? Okay, Coach.